G'day viewers, looks like we are live. So today we are playing on the Hamburg-Lübeck route. I wasn't actually going to get this route initially until I found out it had the singing Siemens train. You may notice I've moved my head. Oop, I think the camera's just a little bit out of whack too. That's a bit better. I had a bit of feedback that perhaps I should make my head smaller. Now, it's not unusual for me to hear that feedback. I'm often told I've got a big head, but there you go. So I have done that and I have moved it to a different spot. Now, we're already partway through a scenario because I didn't want to bore you with the 20, 30 odd minutes of driving a single light engine all the way down here. So we'll just get back into the scenario. The one we're running is Evening Rescue, and basically we're going to be driving the 182, I think this one is. Yes, the DB 182 in MRCE livery. And I've just stopped before we get to our objective. We're going to be going to pick up a broken train, but I thought I'd quickly run around the outside of this one, even though it's dark. It does look kind of cool. Reminds me of Darth Vader. Oh, I can't go further that way. It won't let me. Okay, but it's a very snazzy looking loco. So we'll just hop inside, shut the door. There's several control panels and two cabs, so the two cabs are more or less identical. Got a few controls on the back. There's less at this end than there are at the other end. I've just noticed it's very quiet at this end too. That's interesting. It's not when you're playing in there. We've got the able to turn on, there's a remote control so you can double head these things. I haven't seen a scenario or a service where you need to turn that on yet, but I'm guessing it must be coming or they wouldn't have bothered enabling it. And we also have CIFA, which I have turned on. And it looks like there's a spot for a missing control panel, but there isn't one. And back into the cab. Again, it's very quiet in here. Most of these things aren't active, but you've got a park brake. You've got some light controls, battery, and the pantograph control. There it is, pantograph selector. And you can put any of the pantos up. If you're running in the scenarios, as usual, you need to do what you're told. That signal up there is green. You'll just have to take that as red. But I do want to just pop onto the outside camera. I have AFB set pretty high. Let me just turn AFB down a little. AFB, if you're not familiar with it, is cruise control. And let's just pop onto the outside of the train, because this is why I bought this route. So I'll shut up while we get this thing moving. Yep, it really does play the musical scales. Now I'm going to leave that set on just 50 kilometers an hour for the moment, because we're coming up to a yellow signal. We're pretty close to where we're going to hook up to the other train, or couple to the other train, or whatever you want to call it. Now, there are a few things I've noticed already about this particular one.
CIFA.
One thing is you can use the alert button in this one, but it's a bit slow. So I've gone back to using Q, and that's the same in all of the German trains that came out in this particular route. They haven't enabled Raildriver for everything in the route. There's a lot of substitution in this one. So you will see other locomotives in the services. So I'll give you a brief intro. There is what they call a direct brake in German trains. We'd be calling that the loco brake or the straight brake in other services. Brake gauges, which do work, so that's the brake cylinder on the wheels and the main reservoir, and I assume the brake pipe. Speed display, and that little one there is showing me what AFB is set to, which is, as I mentioned, kind of cruise control. I don't have the signalling speed systems turned on, which is LZB. Oops, I better start paying attention because I have to come up to that red signal and stop and then request permission to go ahead. And if I don't pay attention, we'll go straight through it. That would be a little bit boring. Pretty serious tangent on the curve here. But I suppose it is 140 kilometre an hour zone. Alright, now that once we completely stop, hopefully I'm close enough to it, let's ask the signaller. Yes, okay. Now we're still controlling with AFB at the moment, but I haven't given it enough throttle to really get up to speed, I don't think. It's interesting how the HUD shows the signal as green. So it changed to green after I requested permission. That's actually a nice change, because one of the things that I've always been just a little bit nervous about is flying through a red signal even though I've asked for permission and not knowing whether it's really going to let me through or not. That little yellow exclamation mark that pops up if you haven't met it before is CIFA, which is essentially a vigilance control. Now I'm just going to turn AFB off, because AFB has a wonderful habit of driving, because that's what it does. That's what it wants to do. Alright, now that we've more or less stopped, I can take manual control. Because, I don't know if you can see it yet, but there's a train up there that we're going to be coupling up to. The German couplers, like the English couplers, are just a little bit weird. I certainly prefer the automatic knuckles that you find elsewhere in Australia and in the United States. I think even some English trains have automatic knuckles too, but not all of them. And the German ones certainly don't. So I can disregard that red signal that's just popped up in the top right hand corner, because I won't get that far, because we're going to hit a train before then. You can probably see it sitting there in the platform. So we're rescuing a service that's broken down, and then we're going to run the rest of its passenger service from here onwards. And I thought I'd do this one because it gives us a good mix of the different things that you'll see. And then we might run a passenger service ourselves. And if we get lots of time up our sleeves, there's 3 locos. Well, sort of. There's the cab car, which is the 766.2 DBP BZFA. There's our train that we're going to hook up to. And the other locomotive is the BR112. So we'll see how we go. This is the BR112 coming up here that we're about to crash into if I don't start braking. The direct brake in these is awful, so I'm actually using the train brake. And that'll do. Okay. Just jump out. Left some brake on. Go out the door on this side. Let's just hook them up. You can see they have a sort of link and pin coupler arrangement. Let's have a quick look around the station. Lots of people waiting. It's the same old people. There are passenger displays. Now, weirdly, even though this one is a passenger train, it's not really showing as one, although it certainly becomes one shortly. So the collectibles, route maps, and there are posters. I thought I had one on this platform, just to show you. Maybe this is one. No, that's not one. This side maybe? No. Maybe I don't have one on this platform, but that's okay. So essentially down this end of it, I won't go in there because it'll confuse the scenario. This is the cab car, which is the 762 alphabet. And they are permanently made up into sets with these cars, which I'm told are called Dostos, but I wouldn't have a clue. I'm just heading back up to our loco. It's interesting that it doesn't want the doors opened at this station, even though look at all these people desperately wanting to get in, but the scenario doesn't want you to do that. Stay behind the white line for your safety. Alright, let's go and jump in. Now, interestingly, you have to look at the steps to climb up them, otherwise it wants to climb down them, which puts you under the platform, which is kind of funny. Oops, I haven't gone and shut down the other end of this cab yet. Even though the scenario hasn't told me to. We're going to. We want exterior lights off. We want to release the train brake, believe it or not. Put that into neutral. That should be it, I think. Make sure you're off. That should be it. Alright. Hopefully I didn't forget anything then. We'll know in a minute, because we'll be allowed to drive, or we won't. One or the other. So, we've got our headlights. We want to have some external lights on. Hopefully we've got some lights out front now. We are rolling. That's not good. Brakes. Did the brakes work? No. Oh, that's right, because I'm not set up yet. Still not working. We're going to run through that red signal in a minute. I better jump up and run down the other end quick. Oh, I know what I forgot. Alright, that'll at least stop us going through the signal, I hope. That has not put on any brakes either. Park brake. Hopefully that's enough to stop us before we go through that signal. We'll see. I don't remember having to do any of that in the last time I ran this scenario. Alright, now let's try and set this cab up. Let's do it neutral. Can we have headlights now? It's doing something. We have headlights facing in the wrong direction at the moment. Alright then, so let's go into forward. Hopefully that means we'll have headlights facing in the right direction now. Still can't control the brake. What have I missed? I've missed something. Display came on. It made noises. We don't want PZB. Now I don't want to release the parking brake just yet because I don't have my other controls. So we set to forward. Can I get throttle? That's an interesting question. No. Can I set AFB? I can turn that on. But not on the HUD. So I've definitely missed something up the other end. This is a disaster. So back we go. It still thinks something's turned on up here. Lights are off. They're all released. Let's put you into neutral. And then off. Notice the display's still on up here. Now, we can't do anything with these, no. Or the throttle, no, good, okay. So that's definitely an off. Let's go and try the other end again. I have a faint suspicion the Raildriver is still acting at the other end of the train. So let's put that back into neutral. Go through the pantograph raising steps again. Back into forward. We've got some lights on outside, but do we actually have any yet? We do! We have headlights, yay! This is promising. Oh. And it works! Yes. Alright. Now, weirdly, it doesn't want me to pick up passengers there, which I find rather strange. Is it going to let me have power? It's releasing the brakes. Will it let me power though? Dummy. Somewhere back here there is parking brake released. That's just going to let us roll backwards again. I think. It is. So it's giving me power. And I now have brakes on the train. So I can influence the brakes, but still not the throttle. This is so bizarre. Maybe I should just turn the thing off and on again. What do you reckon? No, I'm not getting any amps. Absolutely right. Absolutely nothing at all. I'm allowed to turn that on now. That's different. But I still can't control it with the Raildriver, but that might be because I've got the brakes on. I think I am gonna try the good old-fashioned turn it off and on again trick. Sounds promising. Alright, now we're going to forwards. Have we got horn control at this end? We've got that. No amp still. What is wrong? Don't think any of those controls are active on this train, although one of them really is AFB. This is going pretty well. EZB is off. Which is what we want. Lights are fine. Just try and release the brakes again. Since we've got brake control, I can at least stop it rolling backwards. 0 amps. It's weird that it lets me control the brake, but it won't. In fact, it's not even releasing the brake, is it? I wonder if because I played the parking brake at the other end, I need to turn it off at this end. This is possible. At least you're getting to hear those satisfying German doors opening and closing. They're quite hefty. Alright. It still thinks I'm facing the other way, interestingly. It doesn't want me to drive from the Dosto, does it? I wonder if that's what it wants. I'm sure I didn't when I drove this before. You know what? I'm actually going to bail on this scenario because this is getting silly. We will just pick up one of the others, but I've shown you that loco, so let's go and show you the 112 now. Sorry about that. So we'll go and jump in a 112, do it on the timetable. That one. There's a couple of them, by the way, so there's multiple liveries for that thing. And let's do one a bit later in the day so you can see it. That one will do. So we'll run a bit of the passenger service and then I'll go back and do a bit of a freight so we can see what the yards look like. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see on the route, sing out and we'll go have a look. Hello, Roy. Just realised you'd said hello. Sorry, I was involved. Now let's try and remember how to set this one up, because I think this one you need to go into forwards first. But anyway, let's try and get the doors open. Has it? No. No, you need to turn it on first. There's another key somewhere. I should have done this in a scenario so I know what to turn on. Because I've only touched this one once. We don't want that one yet. This one's a weird one on the Raildriver. Headlights, passenger doors, open. Well, that's working. I know. Aha! Now we should be able to open the doors. So it looks like we're loading passengers. We have doors open. I think I've just closed them. That's okay. It's convenient timing. All right then. Now let's see if we can work out how to make it move. So we're in forward. This one does have AFB. So brakes off. Ooh, movement. Now this contraption here controls AFB. So you can see the blue mark moving, and it's really, really finicky with the Raildriver. It's kind of shitty. So you either put up with less than what you want, or you resort to using the keyboard to push it up to what you want. So I think it's A, yep. Because the only way you can drive this thing is with AFB. I don't think you can actually turn it off. So it's driving in its little cruise control. Right now you can see it's powering. When it's on this side of the gauge, it's powering. When it's on this side of the gauge, it's braking. Pretty much same as the other one. There's a force meter. Not sure if I've actually got CIFA turned on. I should be able to turn it on from here, from the Raildriver itself. Let's just do that. That should be fourth one along. Is that one? CIFA is now on. Let's just pop outside. So it's a pretty bland little locomotive. A bit plain. And we have the standard car set behind it. Up the other end of the car set, there is, I don't know if I'll be able to get to see it all, the other driving cab car. They always seem to face, oops, there's CIFA. They always seem to face this way round. So we have the cab car going one way and the 112 going the other way. We can put our speed up a little with our finicky speed controller. I think the issue with the speed controller is whoever set that up is treating the readings from the Raildriver as though they're linear, when in fact they're not. Now I love the German signals. Could you get any more lights on that? So we're still in a 60 speed limit at the moment. So I'm quite dependent on the top right HUD. I might just get rid of the other HUD so that we don't have to look at it. CIFA's just come on. Excuse me. I'm actually relatively impressed I managed to make this one go, because it's only the second time I've been in it. Just turn on the frame rate, because there's something about this train. Oh, there we're actually managing 60, so maybe it's this train when you're actually in the city centre. When you're in the city centre, CIFA, you only get about 40 FPS, whereas normally I'm sitting on my limited 60. So I'll just leave the frame rate. Actually, you guys can't see the frame rate, it's under my head. I won't bother leaving it on then. But it is currently running at 60, which is quite okay. So we've got another 1.2 kilometres to go to our station. So I just realised if I don't use that HUD, I really can't tell what AFB's set to. I think there's two indicators on this dial. I can just see something there. So we're able to go faster in a moment, but we're also having to stop in a moment. So we have competing needs. But we are going to stop at the platform. I have no idea how well these things break. So we'll just coast in there. I think the alerter on here actually works okay on this one, so I'll try and remember to use the Raildriver. First time trying to stop this thing, what do you reckon's going to happen? It's slowing down, not a lot. Oh, I'm going to just make it. Cool, so let's open the doors. It should be that button, let's have a look. Yep. Oh, that's a bit awkward, they get stuck on the way out. Go into the free cam. There are passenger information displays, so that does look like where we're going. That's good. Is it bug tied? I suppose so. And we are... There's a lot of people still getting in and out, but it wants me to lock the doors. Okay. Let's lock the doors on these people. And let's go down here and do the thing. How did I end up on the roof? I want to go down here so we can watch the train leave, like a passenger. Okay. It's a lot of people on this platform. This lady here, very grumpy. So's he. That's life. Oops, 160 is a bit much. 140 will do. Actually, we don't want 140, do we? It's only 120 or something here. We'll leave it at 80 for the moment. So that yellow light signal, I'm assuming, is for that track there. And we have another station coming up very shortly. Road crossing. In theory, the level crossings work on this route, but they have this interesting out that you'll never actually see them work. So if I start putting the brakes on there and jump out here... Safer. Let's see... Got lots of brake on, so that thing actually stops in the station. Will they open? Just going to turn that hard on to make sure it's stopping. It is. Doesn't look like it, does it? So it has in fact stopped in the station, so you'd expect this level crossing to release and the gates to go up, but no. Matt had some hideously convoluted way of showing that they're actually working on the stream. No, I didn't quite get all the way into the station then. It wasn't bad for not watching though. I'm impressed. So what I might do is I'll set this to departing. And before I do that, so doors are now locked. Okay, let's just go back to the free cam. Go back to this crossing, and we'll send the train on its way. And we'll come back up here. I can't get where I was before. Okay. What I am going to do though is I'm going to turn CFA off. 2, 3, 4. So CFA is off. Good. Brakes off. I'm turning CFA off because I won't be able to hear it while we're sitting here. Let's just see if these gates actually do open. So the train should now be moving. Let's just quickly pop the HUD back on and make sure it is. So I've just set the speed controller to 60. It'll do for the moment. I'll see how far away we have to get for these to open. I have the wrong headlight set up. Look, another train. Well, at least you got to see that one. There do seem to be a respectable number of services running on this route. When you're running services, you do see quite a few other trains. Unlike our old favourite, the Long Island Railroad, where you see hardly any, even though it's one of the busiest railways in the world. They didn't fix that, unfortunately, in the release. That would have been nice, but they didn't. Oh, there they go. They do work. How about that? Okay. Back to the train then. And let's get this. We've got a while before our next station, so we can get this up to speed now. So we can't go to 140 just yet, because this is so frustrating. There we go, 120. Now we can go to 140. So I always worry on these tracks. You see this little red signal, but German signals I think are on the right, so it's okay. I confess I am a noob with German signals. I struggle with them. And there seem to be 3, maybe 4 different actual kinds. And I should turn CIFA back on. Just turn that. Yep, we got that turned back on now. Hey, it made a different noise when I turned on CIFA. That's interesting. So we've got the wrong headlights on, have we? Oh, look at that, we do. We've got none. They're backwards. Okay, let's try and figure that out. Well, that's brightness. Does it do anything else? Full beam? No. Passenger doors? There's got to be a headlight control somewhere. CIFA? I need to find out what they are. I assume there's something to do with the LZB and PZB. Ha! Headlights! White and red? No, white. White! Okay, let's have a look. There we go. 3 white lights. Now, I'm kind of 2 minds when it comes to using AFB. Oops. Have to stop soon. CIFA. It's the beep. I'll come back to what I was saying. The beeping CIFA, I find, I notice it more than the CIFA that talks, because I have this horrible habit of running movies and things while I'm playing Train Simulator, because, face it, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, really. Didn't I have a stop in 500 metres and now it's saying 1.4 kilometres? Was I dreaming? Oh well. Maybe I was. Maybe it was just a speed change or something. I don't know. But anyway, what I was saying about AFB is it is kind of a cruise control. I'm not sure if it makes it less interesting to use it, because you're not driving anymore, the train is. You're just telling it how fast to go. For me, I like to drive. I've driven 11 kilometres, how about that? Told you I hadn't been in this one much. You know what? We've missed a platform, haven't we? Oh well. I just realised that count's going up. I blew straight through a platform. Ah, well. Let's just drive the route and look at the route. Let's forget about stopping places. And we've got our very finicky system again. Well, you're getting to see the route, so let's have a look at the map. It is a big route. So down here there's a freight yard. This is the main station. I think that is actually, that one's Hamburg and Lübeck's at the other end, I think. Oops, can't press SIFA when you're in the map. And up the other end up here is, there's a freight yard, and there's Lübeck's all the way over here somewhere with another big yard. I got stuck there. Let's just have a bit of a look at this. We can see the two trains passing. Just follow these guys in our drone for a moment. Try not to get stuck under the bridge. So the countryside is kind of nice. There's quite a lot of things modelled. You can't get very close to any of it. I guess this is a good thing about AFBs. You can just pretty much leave it to itself. And it just cruises. So you can do this kind of silly drone stuff. The signals do work. We just saw that one go from red to green. Let's get up ahead of the train a little bit. So this crossing's already down. Let's see how far we have to get before we see an open crossing, because it'd be nice to see one come down. See if this is even possible. Here's a crossing coming up. No, it's already down. So they really do come down a long time in advance, don't they? Let's see if there's another one up here. SIFA. It's a bit hard to do SIFA when you can't actually hear it, so I have to leave that HUD on for a tick. If this one's already down... Yep, whoops. That one's already down too, so it must go a long way ahead. Oh well, let's go back to our train, which is going further and further and further away from where it's meant to stop. Morning, Sagia. So I kind of am thinking about switching to one of the freight scenarios, just so you can see that in action. We can stop this somewhere and have a look in the passenger carriages if you want, but they seem to be the same ones that are on the other routes. They don't seem to have changed. Or if they have changed, it's subtle and I'm not picking it. So I kind of think I might go and jump into a freight scenario, and you can see a little bit of coupling and uncoupling and shunting and the like. I think the introductory scenario to I think it's the 182. I think that one actually has quite a bit of train putting togethering, or we can actually run one of the real ones. So so there's a station coming up. Let's see how good these brakes are. So let's go an emergency stop. That just goes full service. Let's push the button, because we'll have a quick wander through the train. So we'll just leave that to itself. There's a door around here somewhere. Ah, there it is. Oh, I went through a door. Alright, there we go. Hello, passengers. Sorry for abandoning you in the middle of the line. We're just coming for a look. So it's pretty similar. It's kind of a similar idea to the Caltrain stuff, I suppose. Let's just head up to the, all out the other end, and it'll be quicker if I go this way. We'll go have a look at the Dosto, and then we'll switch over to a freight service. All the carriages seem to be pretty much the same. Just missed that, so I can't actually sit in the chair, but I kind of like this cab. It's a little spaceshipy, a little bit like some of the other newer train sets that you see, but they've got some wear and tear in it, which I kind of like, because the what's probably a fiberglass console here would get a bit of wear on it. Anyway, let's jump out of here. So you can see the controls are more or less the same as the other one. Let's jump out of here and go off to our scenarios. And if there's anything you particularly want to go look at, if you want to go and look at a station on foot or something like that, certainly can. I've yet to see one of the collectibles, which is fixing an emergency telephone, but I can't say I've been looking for it all that much. One of these. Oh, there we go. We'll do this one. I don't know if we'll do the whole thing because it's 90 minutes, but let's see how far we get. Not to mention, once you actually get moving, my biggest objection to train simulation games is when you've got a long run to do. Start it off, go mow the grass. May as well. Okay, so we are back in our cute little Darth Vader locomotive. We have a whole bunch of containers, which is driving their anti-aliasing berserk. That's an interesting artifact, isn't it? Oh, well, back in the loco. And it says, get going. But I don't think so. That's red. But anyway, let's set up. We're just not going to move yet. It wants me to release the train brake. But I don't want to apply power to get moving because I've got a red signal, so... Unless it wants me to do that. No, it does not want me to do that. So let's just put a little bit of brake back on and we'll wait for that signal to change. Oh, it has. Look at that. And we're going to be stopping at Lübeck, which is 35 kilometers away. So remember those big long runs I was talking about? Going to move, Mr. Train? You must be a heavy little thing. And if any of you are musically inclined, you may have noticed that it does actually do the rotes. So let's turn on CIFA. Let's turn on AFB. AFB on this one uses these keys. Just switch that off and then I should be able to move the AFB lever. It's not setting it on the HUD. I give it some power, does it appear? No. Maybe AFB was already on and I turned it off. CIFA. So this is a talking CIFA. Train lights. Normally tells you to set all this stuff up when you're in a scenario. Marker lights are normal. Let's have a quick look. There are no headlights. Lights on. Still no headlights. Got 2 now. I want 3 though. Marker lights normal. CIFA. Well, that's all shades of wrong, isn't it? Ah, well. We'll leave our high beams on. We've got door controls, but they're not much use to us currently. Now, let's have another crack at turning AFB on. Should be able to. We are in forward. Can certainly set the lever, but it's not showing anything anywhere. Not on the speed display. Now, is it a bug, or do I need to go and turn it on somewhere? Let's just jump up. We've got to be a bit careful because we've got SIFA turned on. It's going to stop me. Doesn't like me because I'm not in the chair. That's okay. Let's go have a look in the controls and see if there's anything labelled AFB. Not active. No. No. SIFA. I ran the scenario before and I don't remember having to turn anything on for AFB apart from using the keyboard command because I couldn't find a switch. I don't want to turn on PZB. Alright, we'll just drive it the hard way. That's fine. Actually, you know what I see down there? A little blue line now. Come on, release the brakes for me. There we go. Should be getting some amps shortly. Still got the brakes set according to that.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Let's put the brakes into full emergency. Because SIFA stopped me. Now let's reset it.
Zugbeeinflussung. Zugbeeinflussung.
Love German locomotives. That's a satirical thing. Switch below the AFB control handle. Down here, you reckon? Nothing down there seems to be enabled, unless there's something under the bench, but nothing comes up. And now I can't even release the brakes, so I'm doing really well this morning. What an awful stream. Because the brakes are still very much on. But the good news is the AFB blue line's turned up. And that's going to release the brakes. Look at that. And if I give it a ton of throttle, it's probably going to work. Brakes are off. We are in forwards, aren't we? Yep. It's moving. But is it rolling backwards? No, it's moving forwards. But it's got no power. This is so weird. There it goes. I have 3 kilonewtons. Come on, how about 3,000? That would be better. Actually, it's generating power. Oh, good night, Sue. Here you are. Yeah, I think we will do that. Reverser off. Thank you for the suggestion, Michael. Let's put the brakes on as well. In fact, we can't when we're in the reverser off position. Alright, good. So that's given me some control. Now let's try and accelerate. That's not me you can hear, that's another train. Oh, this is just crap. Well, you know what? Let's just start this again and we'll do what we're told this time. And we'll pay attention. Come on. We will just do what we're told. I'm going to pay attention to everything the scenario wants me to do this time. Let's just get this ready. So, reverser to forward. Train brakes to release. And some power. Now we have to wait for the service. That's when the signal will change, I guess. In the meantime, let's turn on CIFA. And let's try and turn on AFB.
AFB. AFB.
It's interesting, turning AFB on turned on that display. It wasn't on before. We're sitting here without the brakes on, hoping we don't roll. Okay. So let's give it some throttle and increase the AFB. And it sounds like it's releasing the brakes, so I think we're going to work this time. Maybe? Maybe. Come on. You know, I've done everything the scenario told me to do. There it goes. Wow, that's weird. Imagine if you were a new player to this game and you didn't know it was full of bugs. That was just really weird. I'm going to have to clip that one out and post that on the forum. That's just so strange. Anyway, let's set up some lights. Since the scenario didn't ask me to do any of that, we're going to do them anyway. Oh, I don't need the train lights because that's for passenger cars. All these things seem to be turned on correctly. This is all the LZB stuff. We don't need any of that. For now, anyway. Sounding pretty happy. Let's give it a ton of juice and sit outside. Sagia, who's from Nigeria, if I remember correctly, is off to bed. Does anyone else think the Imperial March should play when that loco goes past? Bit of CIFA action with the keyboard. We are allowed to go faster, so let's do it. One of the things I find a little bit frustrating is not only are these buttons different for just about every locomotive, but sometimes this runs AFB and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's used for other things. I think it's used for the gears on maybe the 101, BR101.
CIFA.
Yes, I know they couldn't play the music due to licensing. It's the same reason I'm not playing it on the stream, because I'd get a copyright strike when it got picked up by YouTube. And we don't want that. Slow down in about 3 kilometers. That'll be for a curve, I'm guessing. Let's have a look. There's a bit of a curve there, so I'm guessing it's that one.
CIFA.
Missing our middle headlight. Oh yeah, it's up here, isn't it? No. 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 Aha. There we go. Now if you watch these lights flash sometimes. Only when you're outside. You can open the windows in here. It does get a bit louder when you open the windows. And when you've got CIFA turned on, you can't get up and walk away. Or it punishes you. That's interesting. It let me reset CIFA that time, even though I left it too long. It's very quick to act, this CIFA. And I didn't slow down for that curve, did I? No wonder Zephy's mad at me. Oh well. That's why it gave me a penalty. But it did let me reset it, so that's cool. Yeah, it's going to let me keep driving. It's still braking a lot. It's braking. Oh no. It's giving up. It's letting go. Now it's accelerating. It drives like a red P-plater. For those people who aren't in Australia, a red P-plater is the first provisional license you get when you're allowed to drive by yourself. And they're generally either on the brakes or on the accelerator. There's not much in the middle. Anybody else notice all the people standing in the grass back there? Platforms covered in grass. Could be real.
FIFA.
Nice little tractor. Forklift.
FIFA. FIFA.
At least in this route you can hear CIFA when you're not in the train. Oh, let's go catch up with it. If we can. It's a pretty long way ahead. This one seems to have the HUD gradient indicator the right way around too. This seems to be as high as you can climb in this route. I was hoping to be able to see the sea, but we can't. Nice little village. That's cool. Even better if there was someone on it. I have yet to find a donkey. Almost had a heart attack then. I thought that was a red signal I was blasting through, but no. So, fairly big town here. Bit of industry modelled. I think we're about halfway there. Have a quick look. So we've just gone through there. So that would have been, I guess that's Lübeck actually, because now we're going out to the rail yard at the other end. That does make some sense. Another train coming. It's our 112 being driven from its cab car. What I do want to do, but have yet to find time to do, is to learn at least one German signalling system properly so that I can learn PZB and LZB. But at the moment, I do find it a little bit bamboozling. The display's only on when you look at it. It's a Schrodinger's display. Ah, still on. Now, I'm glad I'm not the only one that finds the German signalling bamboozling. Just trying an experiment. Let's look at the display. It's on. See, it's trying to cope with this downgrade at the moment. Interestingly, the gradient's actually the right way round. I played one the other day where it was backwards, where the train was powering when it was going downhill and braking when it was going uphill, according to the gradient display. Which makes me think it's got a similar bug to a Rossellini, where it thinks you're in the other cab sometimes. Maybe it depends which way round they've placed the loco for the service or the scenario. There are some good resources for the German signalling systems, both from Dovetail and from others. I know Matt did quite a intensive stream on signalling. And there is a fixed presentation available on the, I think it's on the Dovetail News site. I just haven't had time to look through it and start practicing it. And as I imagine all of us know, training yourself in something by watching it on YouTube or reading a presentation isn't terribly effective for most people. Because you need to do it. When we get to the other end of this one, we drop this train off and we pick up another train and head back the same way. We'll probably do the shunting involved in that, and then that'll be it for the stream today after that. So probably about another, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, I imagine. I did notice my infinite knowledge around German locomotives did lose me a few people from the stream this morning. I think a couple of people departed in disgust. And that's okay. We can't all be authorities. It's interesting how jumpy AFB is, isn't it? And if you press the Q key, you don't get any nice big noise, but if you press the alerter button, you get a satisfying clunk.
Sifa.
So, rail joint sounds on continuous welded rail. Okay. The containers are modelled nicely, but they're the same ones we've had for a while now. And I have to say the trucks are very German, very efficient. We have a change in speed zones shortly. Promise I'll pay attention this time. Not just blow through it. These orange signs are warning me of the speed change. 1 kilometre before it. It should be enough.
Sifa. Sifa. beeinflussen.
Just getting there. And that signal up there was giving me a warning that there's a 40 coming up soon, which is interesting because the HUD's telling me 60, but the signal was telling me 40. So the HUD might be telling me about a fixed speed, and the signal is telling me one about based on signalling. So if I'm reading that correctly, at the next signal I have to be doing 40.
Sifa.
Yep. That one's got the white 4. It's interesting how it's gotten below the AFB speed, but it's still slowing down. Does AFB not run in these yards, maybe? Let's turn it off. Wait for that to stop braking. It's making noises like it's putting the brakes on, but there's no brake pipe, no brake cylinder pressure. So Michael, does PZB actually set your speed based on the signals? Is it LZB is the one that attacks you? If PZB helps with the signals that way and automates some of that speed, maybe I'll turn PZB on. That would be interesting. But I don't think I'll do it on stream. This one's been embarrassing enough. It's interesting in the different speeds in the different railways around the world. In an American yard, I think 15 mile an hour is about the top you can go, which is about 25, 26 kilometres an hour, which is what I'm doing. And in Germany, you can do 40 into the yard. So I think that train sitting there is the one that we'll hook up to and take out. But let's get this one stopped first. And then you'll see a bit of coupling and uncoupling action. There's not much shunting because you just drop one block surface off and pick up another one. Yeah, I remember monitoring. You can't go over about 40 or 45 kilometres an hour or it stops you again. But I think I'll definitely be learning PZB and LZB off stream. So even with the strange things that happen and, you know, it's software, I get it. Software has bugs. I get that too. But even with the strange things, would I buy this route again, even knowing about the strange things? Yes, probably. It is actually an interesting route. It's got a few long running services like this one, but they don't take that long. Alright, let's go and get rid of these. Excuse my hiccups. Terrible. Where's this damn door? There it is. A bit dark in there. Where's the lever? Oh yeah, you can put these up. Yay, found it. Back into our locomotive. I'm going to leave the door open, even though I'm sure there'd be some German regulation that says you can't. And apparently German loco drivers don't blow their horns. The straight brake in these, or train brake, or locomotive brake, is a little bit weird. So now we're going to go backwards. I don't have to do anything with signals. Okay, we're in reverse. Brake off. There is a video on YouTube. I'd love to play it, but I'd end up with a copyright strike on my stream, which I don't want. But there's a video on YouTube of this particular locomotive playing songs. So if you Google singing Siemens train, I think you'll probably find it. Hey, since the headlights have gone off at this end... No, they're not on at that end either. Stop that just a little early. Need to get past these points. I'm just going to go back into the cab because I want to show you what this lever does. So you put it into apply, it just pops back into hold. You have to apply it again. I need to move a bit more. That's why I don't like using that brake. I missed the stopping point. I'll just move forward till I'm on it and stop with the other brake. It's just so the scenario actually recognises I have. As usual with most of the scenarios, the stopping points are way too finicky. If you're within 10-20 metres of it, that should be enough. Except when there's a signal. But no, you've got to be within about 1. There we go. So let's go and get our other wagons. Since we're in Germany, let's call them wagons. Clunk. Coupled up. Bit of a rough coupling. And now we get to go through what I should have done last time. Let's turn off those lights that I turned on. So we set the train brake to release. So what stops it all just rolling away now? And now we got the other end. Now it didn't tell me to turn that off, but I happen to know you have to. Might have run into that before. And we closed that before, which is good. Reverse it to neutral. I wonder if they really actually do that in the trains, drop the pantographs. I'd be a little bit surprised. Stop at Hamburglar. So it's got the brakes on at this end. Let's put some lights on. Windows open. All right. Will it move? Getting some power. Brakes are off. That's the same as before. It's let me turn AFB on. Maybe you actually have to be stopped when you turn it on. But it is certainly ignoring it. This signal is green this time. Can I have some power, Mr. Train? Please? Did I confuse you by turning on AFB and then turning it off again? Let's just test this theory. Let's bring it to a stop and turn on AFB. We're at about all I wanted to do for this stream anyway, but let's just see how we go. Bit more brake maybe. It's only using electric brakes at the moment. It's putting a little bit of air in the cylinder now. Alright. Now let's try and turn AFB on while we're stopped. See if we can. Alright, we are stopped.
AFB, AFB, AFB.
That looks like the secret to it. You've got to be stopped or the locomotive gets confused. And then you just put it in notch 10 and let it rip. Yay, I learnt something. What are our lights doing? They're correct. quicker than the train at the moment. Oop, stuck. It's stuck in the weirdest places.
FIFA.
The HUD reckons I can go up to 60. Let's do that. "53 kilometres, so this one's going all the way to the other end.
FIFA.
So we're leaving this freight yard all the way through Lübeck, all the way down here. So we'll come off, instead of going into Hamburg down here, we'll go off to this freight yard in Hamburg instead. Now I think I'm going to drive that far, but whether you guys want to hang around that long, I don't know. That's entirely up to you. Giant blocks of flats. You know, that's not bad for dovetail water. They're getting better at it. Little town, solar panels, SIFA. No donkeys. A little bit of road traffic. Can't get further than that into the town. Here's a good rough end spot. It's a long one. Won't be able to do a good drive-by cam here because of the trees. Only do an overhead. More solar panels, another little village. A few cars here and there. Bit of rubbish, that's actually nice to see. When you're looking at a model railroad, a bit of rubbish hanging around the place is what makes it different. Some kind of storage silos, I guess. You know, I really want to see a set of gates closed, so I'm going to go quite a long way ahead. Until we find some that are open. They're already down. I hope they address that they go down so far ahead. There's not much point in modelling gates that open and close if no one ever sees them do it. It's just wasting our CPU and GPU. Keeping an eye on Sifa. See you shortly, Michael. So we're now 4 signal blocks in front of the train. Station. Let's come down and zoom through. I can hear people talking, but there's no one there. These are down. Yeah, we're going a long way ahead of the train to find a set that are up. They're down. This feels faster, doesn't it? Sifa. Those are down. I wonder how far in front of the train I'm going to have to get to actually see a set of gates that's up. And even can I, because I'm actually not going much faster than the train. Because this cruise speed, I think, is about 160 or so. You can hear birds singing, the occasional owl. People talking, that's weird. It's interesting the bridges make noise when you go through them like there's a train going through it, when there isn't one. It's just you. If the next set I find down, I'm going to give up on this and go back to the train. It's a yellow. Why is that yellow? The rotten fabric mill. That's a cool thing to call your mill, the rotten fabric mill. Got to be a crossing here somewhere. Somewhere. Yeah, we're slowing down too. I must have left a Sifa. I shall have to go back to it and reset that. So I don't think we're going to find a crossing with the gates up. Could have sworn I pressed the 1 key. Why can't I get inside the cab? Full 0? Well, that's an interesting bug. I can't actually get into the train. And it's rolling backwards. Stop. Stop some more. Alright. Now, how am I going to figure out how to reset this when I can't even get into the cab?
Zugbeeinflussung.
I got too far ahead of it in tiles, I think. No, it's just not working. Alright, let's release the brake. Try some juice. It is going to power up. And even though I pressed 1, it's going to leave me behind. It's not making the singing train noises. Wow. Hey, Michael. You just came back in time to watch me not be able to get into a cab. Pressing 1. But I can follow it with 2 and 3. I think I got so far ahead I can't get back in. 1 just leaves me behind. Like it's like 8. And it didn't make the singing train noises, so it's almost like I've given up the service and it's an AI now, but it's not because I'm still driving. Go figure. Let's go back on the 8 key and... no, still can't get into it. 1 makes the scenery flicker, but nothing else. Every time you see these trees flicker up here, that's me pressing the 1 key trying to get in the cab. Yes, I think I'm trying to imitate Sam, but I haven't launched it into space yet, Michael. Oh well, could be worse. We'll bring this into the next major station and I will call it quits there for the stream, and I will make some clips to report the bugs of not being able to get back in. And that'll be all good. It's having some anti-aliasing troubles too now. It's better if I zoom in. But if I zoom out, you can see some of those insulators doing funny things. I have to show you the thing that you missed while you were gone, Michael. The rotten fabric mill. I wonder if there's any services that start and stop in that yard. I'll have to have a look. And the river on the right side's quite nice. But the river on the left is, it's not bad, I suppose. Seems to be flying faster there than it is there, though. That's okay. Hey, I'm gone. I'm not there anymore. That's why I can't get back in the cab. FIFA. But I'm still very much driving. It's not an AI. How weird's that? Another little village to explore. Not much to that one, just a few little buildings. Mostly hidden in trees. The lighting's nice. Getting into sunset, I guess.
SIFA, 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 Zwangsbremse.
Uh-oh. I waited too long. See if we get away with it. Yes! As an Aussie, I translate the word SIFA to oi. And I translate the next one to oi, wake up, numbnuts. "31 kilometres. Yeah, we're halfway there. We might as well just keep going, eh? I have to slow down soon. In 3 kilometres time. While you were gone, Michael, I zoomed way, way, way ahead trying to find some open rail gates so that I could see them come down. And that confused it a lot, which is why I can't get back into the cab now. Yeah, nope, would be another good thing. I like the transmission towers.
SIFA, SIFA.
Look at that, I'm going to go through a corner at the right speed. That never happens. Seems to have blooming turned back on. That's a 9.
SIFA, SIFA.
Another 112. They look like they would have been industrial buildings and now they're a people building. Cement plant? Or wheat silos, but you know, it's in a city, probably cement plant. Bit of interesting industry. There's a fair bit of traffic on the road, that's nice to see. But the road just disappears into a hill, that's a bit weird. The other end, so we're not in there either. Put another Star Wars quotes in there. Hey, what's that flashing? I haven't come back yet.
FIFA,
Nice farm modelling. Still haven't spotted a donkey. If the person who just joined the stream, welcome along. The reason I am outside the cab right now is because somehow I got out and I can't get back in. But I'm still driving. Yeah, we're allowed to speed back up. I'll just go up to the 120 though. So,
FIFA,
about 80% of the way there. More modelled, a little bit of light industry. Roads are busy.
FIFA,
Nicely modelled station. Sorry for running into the poles. Big car park. No cars in it though.
FIFA.
I wonder if Control Zero will work. Nah. Control Zero is meant to get you back into a cab no matter what.
FIFA.
No one home. Freshly dug mass grave back there at the side of the track. The times of COVID. Question for Roy, if he's still with us. Does me floating along above the train make this a flight simulator? That's a nice touch. I don't know if you've noticed that, but the pantograph lowered going under the bridge and then it came back up again. At the moment I kind of think the wire's under it though. We'll ignore that. It's kind of cool.
Sifa.
Signal posts have collision on them, so you hit them and bounce off, but things like these poles don't. Weird. I'm donkey hunting. I don't see anything.
Sifa.
You can't see it because my head's in the way. But as we come into town here and there's more and more buildings, the frame rate is dropping. It's sitting on about 48 to 50 at the moment, sometimes dropping as low as 40. Whereas normally I get a nice steady 60. And that's limited. My rig usually runs at about 90 odd. The game still looks smooth. We did have one hitch back there where the frame rate went to 10.
Sifa.
Oh, come on. 120. There we go. Yeah, I kind of think it might be at either end of the line, Michael. But it could be at one of the freight areas as well. And there could be more than one. There sometimes is. Oops. That'd be a bit of a rough track change there. That's a little bit quick. sooner or later it'll stop slowing itself down and start speeding up again. Maybe.
Sifa.
Either that or I upset it by putting the brakes on before. Oh, there we go. There we go. And we're allowed to speed up again. But we're just going to go to 60 because that's the next limit. Which should be what that says. That says 100. Ah, for that track.
Sifa. Sifa.
This is where we head away from the passenger route and head off down towards the freight area. There's a 6 with a left arrow on it down on the ground back there, if you didn't see it. Sets our speed. Some big pipeline or conveyor system on the right there. Looks like a pipeline. So we're fast approaching the end of the universe.
Sifa.
It's a busy little modelled area, this one. Lots going on. Which has got my frame rate down to 36 FPS now. Big river.
Sifa. Sifa.
2 kilometres to go. Interesting that the HUD's showing about 80 kilometres an hour, but I haven't seen another speed sign. I've only seen that one that dropped me down to 60. There's another one of those interesting places where you can see the gradient display on the HUD says it's going uphill, yet the train is quite clearly braking under AFB, so it's not uphill. Or yellow lights so you can poke a stick at. It's a very busy little yard over there, but nothing connected to it as far as I can tell.
Siefer.
Michael, am I right in thinking that normally the German locos will only brake under AFB if you actually have the throttle set? Whereas this one seems to do it regardless. Because I'm able to brake with the throttle set idle. Using AFB itself. I think I'll turn it off anyway. Because it's going to stop us too early. Actually, looking at how shiny this locomotive is, I think it reminds me more of the Spaceballs helmet than the Darth Vader's helmet. Made it. On the outside, but we made it. I've run this before, so it shouldn't give me a medal. No. Cool bananas. The only speed limit aberration was me not changing AFB properly. Apart from that, all good. Oh well, it's been fun having you guys along this morning to enjoy the trials and tribulations of the Hamburg-Lübeck route with the exciting lack of ability from your host on a couple of occasions there. Oh well, bit of learning to do. I've only had it a couple of days and I haven't had a lot of time to play. So next week is advertised to be Rapid Transit. It's going to be Rapid Transit and LIRR, the Long Island Railroad, because both did come out with an update. Weirdly, they both came out with a two-part update. So some things changed on, I think it was Tuesday, probably Wednesday for me, but I think it was Tuesday for the rest of the universe. And then it got another update when this route came out and the behavior changed again, which is a bit interesting. but that's okay. So thanks very much for coming along, Michael. Enjoy your dinner. So next week will be LIRR and Rapid Transit, and the week after that will be the 20th anniversary of the original Microsoft Train Simulator. I've got a machine set up. I have purchased some hardware so I can stream from that machine through to mine and push it out. I couldn't actually get it onto the internet properly, and OBS won't run on it because its graphics card's just not good enough. But anyway, enjoy yourselves. It's been good having you along, and we will see you, I hope, next week. See you later. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the stream, and if you haven't already, I would really appreciate the subscriptions. So thanks a lot, and don't forget to hit the little bell so you get notified of upcoming streams.